You guys, I had to jump on this morning because history is in the making. D-Wave QBTS has surpassed its all-time high on the stock chart. And what's crazy about this, the craziest thing about this is on Friday, right after market close, we had Moody's downgrade US credit. And we know that unfortunately, a very popular scientist and YouTuber, Sabine Hossenfelder, posted basically a hit piece with her thumbnail saying D-Wave is selling bullshit. And 200,000 people have watched that video. And as most of you probably know at this point, I did do a react to that and call out some of the hypocrisy. So not too long ago, I was listening to this relatively new Quantum and the Unknowable Universe full debate with Roger Penrose, Sabine, and Slavoj Žižek. I'm probably butchering the name. And so I do want to say, I understand that Sabine has a long history and of good standing in the scientific community. My reaction wasn't to her career. It was specifically to her video, which had a lot of nonsense in it. So, and I do recommend going and watching this video. Roger Penrose had some fascinating points of view on quantum, as did Sabine, and it was an interesting conversation. I might cover it at some point. We know that Moody's had the downgrade, and we also know that this hit piece basically came out on a very popular YouTube channel. But we see today that QBTS has breached its all-time high. And D-Wave has basically been, if we look back at the all-time chart, since D-Wave became a publicly traded company 5 years ago, it has never seen its stock price at this level. So very, very cool to see. Congratulations to any D-Wave or QBTS stock holders. I want to show some price action today and some levels to keep in mind. And since we're in the morning and the market's opening, the chart's changing. I do want to show the extended trading hours because we did see some bullish action leading into our trading session. So we see that we were up at 1278. We dumped at open. And then we've just been in this steady uptrend. So why are we in this steady uptrend? Well, there's a few reasons. One, we know that Nvidia is in advanced talks to invest in Quantum. And I'm still in the process of kind of listening to the long keynote that Jensen gave yesterday evening, but he did mention quantum a couple of times. So there's an about face that's shifting from the Nvidia point of view, both in direct investment, but also starting to talk about QPUs as part of their data center. Now, remember 4 months ago, quantum was 15 to 30 years away, according to Nvidia. So things are just changing rapidly. And we're seeing that reflected. And when we look at a stock like QBTS, D-Wave, we know that of all the stocks, the quantum stocks, D-Wave is actually producing revenue, right? Like a lot of these quantum stocks, unfortunately, are still in the R&D phase and are not commercially producing a ton of value from quantum at this point in time. So my main concern with D-Wave continues to be what's the next quarterly? What is the next quarterly going to look like? Because we've seen, if we look at the chart here, we've seen kind of this up, down, up, down, up, down. So if we're to follow the same trend as in the past, then we could certainly see a pullback, especially if revenue is a miss for what Wall Street is expecting, or if there's some other bad news or black swan event. But right now, we're in this very interesting period of a stock called price discovery. And price discovery is essentially the point where there's no historical price data as far back as you look for where to price this asset in the market. So now the question becomes, if D-Wave can continue this rally, where is the stock price going to go? So we know that today there are multiple factors working against D-Wave, and it still made its all-time high. Over the weekend, 200,000 people watched the Sabine video. Only 1,000 people watched my rebuttal. So that's a 200 to 1 difference in information, and that just shows you the power of a YouTuber with a big audience and how they can spread information like that. Despite that, D-Wave made the all-time high. And despite the Moody's rating and all stocks opening, or pretty much all stocks opening red, D-Wave made the all-time high. So what is the stock going to do in an actual bullish market where all stocks are going up? And that's the question. So now really, like, it's a lot easier for me to give price predictions and do price analysis when there's a precedent. But we know that if we go over to the quantum watch list, because of this Nvidia interest, we have seen stocks like ARQQ, LAES. LAES has jumped 10%, and ARQQ is reporting earnings soon, and they're jumped 18%. I actually picked up a few more shares of ARQQ before earnings because the bar is so low. And ARQQ and LAES are quantum cybersecurity plays, and they're very interesting to me. So we see in the quantum watch list that it's a mixed bag. QUBT has given back so far today. And the trading session isn't over, but I'm just going back to QBTS in this all-time high. We see that there's, at this point in time in the trading day, there's some sell-off. But I want to show that just in this day, even if we just connect the lows through the day, we're still in a rising support even on the day chart. So we could see some positive price action continue, especially if the market in general is able to continue its rally. So the Qs gapped down today. This was a significant sell-off in the Qs, and the Qs have already rallied back, and they're almost back to where they were on Friday already. And we're still very early in the trading session. So QBTS, congratulations to any of you who hold D-Wave and QBTS. It's been a wild ride in 2025. When you talk to D-Wave and when you talk to QBTS, they're just getting started. This is just the beginning of QBTS and their efforts. We know they're working on a more powerful advantage system with many more qubits than what they currently have. We know they're working on partnerships. We know after they released their findings in the science paper that there's been institutions, research organizations, even potential commercial clients contacting them. So when is the next time we hear something new from D-Wave? Well, they know how hot their stock is. They know the importance of meeting Wall Street's expectations, and they know the importance of good public relations. And just the fact that their VP of tech evangelism came on my tiny YouTube channel to talk to me. I mean, that's a big risk for a $2 billion, $3 billion company. And they took that risk to speak directly to the retail community. This company is being transparent with shareholders, and they're working hard to make their quantum annealing technology have a big footprint in the commercial world. And it's going to take some hard work because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of headwinds out there and there's a lot of naysayers, but the proof is in the charts. At the end of the day, look at what the stock is doing. Look at what D-Wave has done in 2025 so far. Now, if they can continue this momentum, we could be in for a wild ride. So anyway, if you are investing in D-Wave or any other quantum stock, make sure you do your own due diligence. I'm not a certified financial advisor, so you need to do your own diligence and make your own decisions. That's how you're going to have your best convictions. And if you're uncomfortable with a potentially speculative and volatile trade, which quantum can definitely be volatile, then set stop losses and protect yourself. And that's all I got for you guys today. Have a good one.